This is the AWMS. I think this is up to like Mark 5. Smart Airsoft Optic. It is a round counter, it is a compass, it's a clock, all built into a, there we go, heads-up display. So you've got the compass at the top there, clock, round counting, custom profiles, battery percentage, all of that, hop-up assist, make sure your gun's horizontal, all that. Hard to aim at the camera, there we go. Customizable UI, customizable colours. But I've started to come to the realization that I cannot get the motivation, time, or availability of resources to produce these for sale. They are designed for me to produce for sale, but I just can't do that anymore. So as a result, I'm going to be putting these files up for purchase on probably something like Colts. There will be a link down in the video description, as well as links to the rest of the videos I'm going to do in this series about the construction of this device. The actual files are, there's 4 of them. There's this center core here, there is this cover, and then there's the 2 print in place lenses, and I'll run through those on the screen here. So this is the AWMS on the screen. You have what I call the optical engine and the display engine. So the display engine contains the display down the bottom here, the compute module, which is a tachyon tachyon round counting board from Tachyon Electronics, and part of this is we are going to be opening up the firmware that we use on the AWMS to be able to be flashed to any Tachyon device. So if you happen to have already purchased a Tachyon, a relatively recent one of the ones with a USB port to flash the firmware, you'll be able to print this shell and turn your Tachyon into a round counter. Then up the top here we have the display engine. This consists of a planar mirror, which is pro-reflective on one side and anti-reflective on the other, and a spherical lens at the front, which we coat for additional reflectivity, but we'll get onto that later. Critically, these 2 things are not able to be manufactured, not to the quality that you need for home use, and so as such, these I bought them from a manufacturer on AliExpress, but they have a minimum order quantity of 50 units, which doesn't work. So actually, let me bring up. These are the lenses we need. So this is the spherical one. See, it's curved at the front there. There we go. And then this is the pro and anti-reflective. So it's pro-reflective on that side, anti-reflective on that side. So this reflects the image forwards, and then this collimates it, makes it look to your eye as if it's rendered at infinity, and that's the important thing for the optics of the sight. And critically, as I said, you cannot really produce these, at least not at home. And given the minimum order quantity, I had to go back to the original way that I was producing these sights, and that is tearing down one of these. And what this video is a teardown instructional to get the lenses out of one of these. As such, so I bought this one on Amazon. It was like 36 quid. You can get them on AliExpress for about 15, maybe 20 including shipping. But yeah, what we're trying to do here is get these lenses out. There we go. These aren't really designed to be taken apart, so you will not be putting it back together. The lenses are glued into place, and there are clips and plastic bits that will most likely break during the teardown, but I will try and run through it in best I can. This will work for any EOTech style red dot clone. If you happen to have one, they're not expensive. They are of a literally the cheapest ones seem to work fine. The more expensive ones, you might get nicer lenses, better reflectivity, better anti-reflective coatings, things like that. And you can also pick ones that may have like an orange hue to the front lens and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get this thing apart. Starting off with the exterior shell. Should all be doable with just a screwdriver and maybe some like prying bits and stuff like that. just for the purposes of getting it apart. Like some of them, they've got some clip-on semicircular rings that need to be removed. There we go, that should be it. The shell should be pretty easy. I recommend holding on to the bits. You never know when some of them might be useful. There's a little nice laser diode in here, and if you're in the market for producing custom sights, you can probably reuse the laser diode and crosshair on something else. So first up is the 4 screws around the metal cover, and then fully unscrew the rail mount. Cat's having a fight through the cat flap. That should then allow this to slide off like that. Then that's the rail clamp. I may design a version of this to reuse this twist nut and the rail clamp, just because if everyone's using one of these, it's a free part, you know. Why waste time designing or printing your own system when you can just reuse something that's necessary for the parts anyways? So yeah, next up is the 4 screws that hold the metal rail segment to the plastic upper. They're just little plastic screws. I'll not be being careful with this. I bought this, I've got plenty of lenses left over for anything I need to do, so this is purely bought to demo the process and then the faceplate off. One, two, there we go. I think the top 2 are just into the plastic, so once these are on, there we go. I can recommend holding onto the springs. Springs are always useful. And then in here you've got the whole assembly, so you've got the button assembly at the front here, control circuitry here, and then that runs to a diode at the front and the battery terminals at the front. But this all has to come out. I think once I take these front screws out, the whole optical bit of this should just fall out the bottom. Really not too hard to tear down. Getting the lenses out at the final step is really the hard bit, because the zeroing mechanism is they use little circular clips to hold it into place. There we go. So that's the button array. So we'll just pull off. Control circuit and a little shieldy thing. So there we go, we can see in there the lenses now. This, basically what we need to do is this internal core here, let me just see, just here there's 2 layers. There's an internal bit and an external bit. We need to get this internal bit out because that's what sandwiches the lenses against the external frame. And to do that we need to get the zeroing mechanism out, and to do that we need to get either remove the circlips from focus is a nightmare. Either remove the circlips from on the end of those zeroing mechanisms, there's one there and one there, or failing that, rip the whole thing to pieces. Like, we're not don't need to be careful about this. So first up, you want a fine flathead screwdriver for this. If we're going to try and remove the circlips, where is a fine flathead screwdriver? There we go. So I've got something about come on, focus. There we go. So I've got something about that big. You just want to be something that's sharp enough to dig in to the circlips. So we'll start with this front one here. It's a little bit more accessible. I recommend having another screwdriver set up in a flathead configuration so you can adjust the zeroing mechanism, which is here, to get the circlip into a favourable position. So like there, you'll see that there's little zoom in again. You'll see that there's little holes on the circlip. If I can find it. Focus. There we go. So we're going for this here. There's a little hole in the front there, and what we want to do is dig the screwdriver into that and pop it out. So I'll try and keep it in frame. So digging in there and As I said, these things are very much not designed to come apart. This on frame. Yep, there we go. That does not seem to be wanting to do what I want it to do. Give it a wiggle. Oh, wait a second, that might have already come off. Yeah, looks like it might have already come off. So then, what you want to do is back the zeroing mechanism all the way to one end, so sorry, to the furthest end, so that then the screw will push itself out. There we go. Once that's all the way out, that's one down. And then just back the screw all the way out. There we go, screw out there. You can get that bolt out, and then you've got the diode connected to the battery terminals on the board, and you can see on the front there. Come on, focus up. There's the little LED diode and mask, so the perforations in that are what produce the shadow that you see as the reticule for the clone EOTech red dots. The real versions use holographic projection, but these just these work like a little red dot, so they just project the image, which is why they're a bit shit. Especially since you've got to have the two lenses for the form factor of the EOTech. So that's one down. The other one's a bit further in. We need to get the get into the back there. I always get the zoom wrong first time. So we need to get this out here. So back that out a bit again. So the circlip on this one is down the back on the right hand side of this. Watching out for the magnetic things. So if we rotate this around until I can see the clip, actually what I'll do is I'll unzip it, unscrew it a bit to give myself a little space. There we go. So then again we want to try and find a hole in this circlip, dig in, and see if we can lever it out. It seems to be spinning the mechanism a bit here. So you can kind of keep your thumb on it to try and keep it in place. There we go. That one was easy. There we go. That's what I'm trying to remove. There we go. Little circlet. That's what holds each axis of the zeroing mechanism in, and that's what we're trying to remove to be able to get this thing apart. First one just kind of vanished into the void, I believe. So again, back this screw all the way out. And then that should be the last step, more or less. The lenses are usually glued in, and so you'll need to take a knife to give a bit of a clean up of the edges, carefully, just to remove the glue and gunk. There we go, that's out there. The other zeroing mechanism can come out, and then the whole thing should be able to be levered out. There it goes. Able to see that? There we go. So you should be able to just dig something in there and pull that out. I think the yeah, there we go. There's also one last thing. I think the terminals of the battery are in the way. There we go, you can see there's a gap at the back. There now. Might be able to just... No, they're held in still. So, these are being the problem at the front here. You can kind of see how they're pushing up against that, so we need to get those out of the way. I think there is a rubber bung. At the front here. I'll back this out a bit so I can stay more in frame. Okay. There we go, there's one. So yeah, this seems to be the way. Grab it with a pair of pliers, pull nice and hard, twist and pull. There we go, that's both of them out. Yeah, as I said, this isn't a non-destructive process. There we go, and so now you can see that's the optical engine for this, and as you can kind of compare against with this, it's the same basic setup, except instead of moving this around and moving the LED around because the display is fixed, I have independent control of each axis on the lenses themselves, which has its advantages and downsides, but it does what's needed. You know, it allows you to zero it. So, get the lenses out of this. This is just a push. They're just kind of lightly held in with glue. We'll need to clean that glue off, and you'll see there's a more reflective internal there compared to the external there, and yeah, pop that out. So there we go. We can now theoretically bin all of this shite, and yeah, you now have the two lenses. And what I do is, if I can find my knife, where you can see the glue around the edges, you just want to kind of gently run a knife, doesn't have to be particularly sharp, around the edges, and kind of, you can also use a fingernail, just kind of remove the gunk a bit. It's not essential, it just, the lenses are print in place, so the print needs to be stopped, and the easier they are to get in without upsetting them, and the less they kind of impinge on the neighbour, the better the chance of the print, you know, not delaminating at a later date. And just clean up. And before anyone asks, this wasn't from doing this. This was from pulling sound deadening material out the floor of my car. Turns out that was aluminium backed, and that aluminium gets sharp. Yeah, then you just, once you've cleaned it off the worst of it, especially going for the flat back surface, and give it a rub down with your thumb. This is the principal advantage of ordering them unused, is that they are not covered in this gunk. And similarly, do the same thing for this. It's a bit easier because it's flat. Go. Yeah, we're good clean. So yeah, those plus a tachyon board, screen and battery, which I may have. Can't play the battery, but yeah. So these two, one of these, the accompanying screen and battery. Actually, you know what? I'll tear this one down. It's a good demo of how easy it is to take these apart as well. So with my design, similarly, like, why make it difficult to take apart if that just makes it harder for me to build? It is 5 screws to split the top and bottom, and then 3 more, to take the lenses out, including the zeroing mechanism. And this just uses lock nuts as the nylock nuts as the method by which the zeroing mechanism is held into place. 2 on this side. So yeah, in order to build one of these, all you need is that many, plus, I'm not going to take them out, but plus those 2 bolts. You need to print file 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you just need a few heat set inserts. I think there are, yeah, just those 4. And then, yeah, so the parts that you'll buy from Tachyon to be able to do this are this 1200 milliamp hour battery, this DEM 128128 screen, and then the Tachyon, which I've got here, I can not really get it out, the Tachyon main board. All of these parts will be available through the Tachyon website. Martin from Tachyon Electronics has been a great help in the development of this project, and has agreed to take direction from here. I'll also link to the wholesale for the displays and the battery, in case, but they might have minimum order quantities or price prohibitive shipping, or whatever, but you can buy them from there, or you can buy them from Martin as one whole package when you pick up one of these boards. For this design, you will need this board. It only works with this board. It is a bespoke board designed just for airsoft round counting, and has all the features built in. But for any other project, if you were to try and adapt this to fit anything else, so long as the display is in the same position as this display, in terms of distance from display to rear mirror to front mirror, that cumulative distance must be consistent with this design for the the collimation process to work. That's it. So if you want to do anything with that on your own, you're more than welcome to. These files, as I said, will be going up, available to purchase, and yeah, I hope people have a lot of fun trying to work with these. I've gotten this into a position where I use it regularly, and I really enjoy it. It's great for guns that have awkward mid caps. And if you want to go with one of Martin's either round counter, discrete round counting muzzle devices, or the tracer unit round counter, they plug into one of these 2 ports, as well as a reload button if you want an external reload button. I tend to just use the press middle button on the side of the device. But yes, we've got ports for both of those items if you want to run those as well, which you can again pick up from Martin's website. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll also have a further videos will cover the coating and assembly of the lenses, the printing process for all these parts, because yeah, this I cover the material with a pro-reflective solar film. So just in here, that surface needs to be extra reflective because the lenses are kind of dim, or the display's kind of dim, sorry. So you need more reflectivity for use in daytime, and so I coat these front lenses, and they're print in place. So the actual lens assembly, you print up to a certain point, pause the print, press the lens in, and then continue the print, and that seals them in and mechanically locks them into these parts. So yeah, look forward to those videos coming out soon, as well as the files for this, and if you want to ask any questions, I do have a Discord, which I'll also link in the video description, and there, that should pretty much cover it. Cheers.